we're super excited about this album, Sunny. It's a great album, Veritas, that's coming out on Mascot Records on May 3rd. We just launched the single last week, Afraid to Die, number one most added at Rock Radio. Thank you for early support. Song is killer. It's over 5 million streams already. This record is
on recording.
What?
Can you turn yourself on mute? Sorry.
I was going to say this record is a real return to rock. It is heavy. There's tracks that we have out there now that we've been warming up the bass. Sonny just got back. He might be tired. He just did Wembley in the UK, coming back, touring on this album in the US. I wanted to thank everyone for making time for your day to be a part of this, to, kind of have a fun little hour to talk to Sonny. We're just thrilled. I'm trying to think. I wanted to thank Oxio and Joanne and Caroline for setting this up and getting everyone on the call. I want to thank Sonny for being here. And I want to pass it on to our host, Glassman, who's going to curate this little mess. Not mess, but I'm great.
Thank you.
Beautiful mess.
From the
beat.
There
go
you
ahead,
go.
Finish.
No, I just want to give you a nice intro. We got Glassman from 93.5, The Beach, who's going to host this event today, and I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, and real simple for everyone that's joined us in the group chat. Just put a little thing, and I'll call so I know who to go to ask the next question as we go along. So we already know Lorraine gave us the rundown. Veritas, the 11th studio album coming in May 3rd. New single, Afraid to Die. And Sonny, thanks for joining us.
Of course.
And I know everyone's going to probably be asking you about the new album. So let me hit you with something that goes back with, probably your biggest hit, Youth of the Nation, over 20 years now. And if you look back, what the theme of that song was is still relevant today. How's that feel to you?
I mean, it doesn't feel good. It's more relevant today. We're always asking. I mean, I'm a daddy before I am anything else. Oh, and a husband too, but I care about young people, my foundation also. I feel like a kid, even though I just turned 50 in this rock and roll band, I still feel like a kid. Music keeps me that way. But we've been tied in all the way back since the Columbine days. We were still young ourselves, but because we were local in that area, touring and stuff, we were doing benefits. We were doing, healing shows for the kids out in Columbine. So, and back then, obviously, I don't think it's a lot more relevant than it's happening now, but obviously because of social media and news and being able to read, we're seeing a lot more what's going on, and we're getting a deeper dive into what's going on in the lives of young people, So I guess the song still means the same. It's still asking the question, what are we doing? Are we protecting our kids? Are we looking out for them? It does raise the awareness of gun control. But mostly it's more raising the awareness of a mindset of what kids are going through these days. And I say it all the time. I'd hate to be a kid in 2024 right now. There's too much stuff going on. But in all, our music is always, it still has that glimpse and that hope that these kids are going to be all right.
Yeah, and now with the new album coming out, is there anything that's like a similar message from that's on the new album?
It's more of a P.O.D. theme, I think an interviewer said a lot of these bands are making these more aggressive records and during the COVID days and stuff. And I think we all went through that. We all have the right to feel every emotion through the last few years. But like every P.O.D. record, it is our common theme to offer hope, to offer love. I always say we're like the Bob Marley of rock and roll, or, like Santana of rock and roll. But because it is rock and roll, it's not always received, this message of faith or this message of, this spiritual message, or positivity, because, we like we like our rock and roll, you know, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. You know what I mean? So when P.O.D comes in and we're not that, you know, you either hate us or you kind of dig what we have to say. You know what I mean? But, you know, no matter how the record makes you feel, it's still always going to offer that hope. And I think more just because we see it all the time, or right now with not just young kids, but people. I mean, depression is through the roof, anxiety is through the roof. You know what I mean? Suicide rates are at a crazy all-time high, and it's still trying to offer that hope that, hey, we can make this together. You know, and if you look back at all P.O.D records, I say it a lot of times. It's just I do believe that joy comes in the morning. There's hope tomorrow. You know, today might not be your best day, but tomorrow we can find strength, you know. And so it's just another encouragement saying, hey, man, hang on, hold on. You know, life gets better.
Yeah. And of course, with the new album comes a new tour. You're about to hit the road April 26th for a little trek with Bad Wolves, Norma Jean, and Blind Channel. How exciting with that group is this tour going to be for you guys?
Yeah, I have a newfound love, just an excitement for touring. You know, we've been touring so long; it's always been a love-hate relationship. You know, and even when COVID happened, it was like you're forcing me to stay inside my house for 2 months with my wife and my kids. Like, this is a blessing. You can cancel all the tours you want. I'm ready to stay home. You know, but after a few months went by, and then half a year, and then you're going on, you're like, this is strange. I don't even know how to act anymore. You know, so it's definitely a whole new appreciation for what I get to do. And it's a part of me, you know, as much as I still don't, I mean, I don't think this band it doesn't define who I am, but it is a part of me. It's a big part of me. And I just miss what we do. You know, I love being out there playing, but we're over 30 years. We've made so many friends and family all over the world. So it's not just entertainment and performing. It's like, the best part is just seeing all my friends again, you know, and that's behind stage and that's in front of the stage as well.
Yeah. Now let's open up to the floor again in the group chat. Just raise your hand and I'll call on you guys. And I know we got a couple that have to bust out early. So I'll go to Sparky first if you got something. And
sure. Sonny, you're awesome. I got nothing.
Hey, that was a lot, Sparky.
I wish I had this really awesome question, but I got it. I'm looking forward to hearing the album.
Thank you, brother.
All right, Chris from K.O.D, are you here?
No, he's running late. He just texted me. I did want to say in between, while everybody's figuring out their questions, maybe Caroline could play the video, because I know we wanted to feature the music video on here.
Let's go ahead and see it.
Okay.
I decided it was time for me to live, but the hardest part is trying. They say you either get busy with living or get busy dying. You see, there's only one me, and I'ma be who I'm supposed to be. Nobody said it would be easy. See, I was never given much, I wanna take that too. But everybody gets a chance, do what you gotta do. Can nobody take it from me? You make me wanna quit. You only get one life, no matter what, you better live it. When you're with us, you're not alone, you're not alone, baby. You're not alone when you're with us, and we ain't afraid to die. We ain't afraid of life. is what it is, so stop living on the sidelines. Master of my fate, this is life, so I'ma live mine. When you're with us, you're not alone, you're not alone. You're not alone when you're with us, and we ain't afraid to die. We ain't afraid of life. If the world is gonna end, you know that I'm bringing all my friends to us. We ain't afraid to die. Nobody gets out alive, out alive. Nobody gets out alive, out alive, gets out alive. Nobody gets out alive, out alive. Nobody gets out alive, out alive. We ain't afraid to die. We ain't afraid of life. If the world is gonna end, you know that I'm bringing all my friends to us. We ain't afraid to die.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So,
Nice.
Sonny, what made you guys pick Tatiana for that?
It's because she's badass. Because she's amazing.
Fair enough answer.
Yeah. No, but she's actually her husband, Alex Lopez, who played with Suicide Silence forever. He's actually been drumming for us the past 2 years, just filling in and stuff. And so, they become family to us. And we knew in the studio, just because it's a gang vocal and it's saying we, and it's this united front. And so we knew we needed a female vocal. And we hit her up.
Where'd
and
you guys
said,
shoot the video at?
We flew out to St. Louis real quick and did it at a buddy who did a lot of the videos from Circles. He did, I want to say, he just recently did the new video, Lies We Tell Ourselves. So he's a friend of ours, and he hooked it up.
Yeah, and I believe Razor has a question for you now.
Yeah. Hey, Sonny. The lyrics for the song seem pretty intense, a little personal, maybe. What was the fuse for lighting that?
I mean, as soon as you see the phrase or the title "Afraid to Die," you think, afraid, fear, scared. But it's actually saying that we're not afraid to die. But I think what people miss is the next line is that we're saying we're not afraid of life. So it's more about living. You know what I mean? It's easy for me to die for what I believe in, to make a stand. That's a no-brainer, but it's the choice to live every day, no matter what happens, is where the power and the strength comes in. And so you hear Tatiana singing, you're not alone when you're with us. When you're with us, you're not alone. So it's just, again, that encouraging, or it's just an encouragement saying, hang on, we could do this together. And then it says, if the world's going to end, I'm bringing all my friends.
All right.
One follow-up real quick. Did you have any takes where she got her growl on?
Yeah, well, that's her during the bridge.
Oh,
and then so if you listen, it's all her, and so I didn't even bother. I'm not going to even mess around if she's going to scream, So so you can hear my little kind of note, kind of just backing her up. But she, and we played that for the first time in England last week, and we were blown away how well it went over.
It's awesome.
Have you guys toured with Ginger, or do you plan on doing any tours?
Yeah, we did that right after our corn run at the end of 22. We did about 6 weeks with them all up into Christmas. And it was awesome because we love supporting, because we love playing with bands that might have never seen us before. So we always feel like we go out and then we have to win over those fans. And, it was mostly metal fans, and we killed it. We can play with anybody. We could also play with any reggae band, any pop band, our music is all over the place,
Is there any new bands out there that you haven't done a show with that are giving you guys a little bit of inspiration for stuff?
I mean, there's not too many new bands. I mean, I said this earlier, like I'd rather go to like a hardcore show with 20 people and find that band that's grinding it out, that is authentic, that is hustling and working. You know, I unfortunately in our business, all of a sudden, I've never heard of this band before, but they're number one on the radio, and they're number one, and all of a sudden they're headlining, and their name is huge up in the festivals and stuff, and I'm like, I've never even heard this band. So a lot of times I feel like, well, that's the band you're telling me I'm supposed to like. So that's why at the festivals I go and check out all these bands, and if there's anybody that stands out, I'll be the first one to say these guys rock. This is amazing. The show is amazing. But unfortunately, there is a lot of gimmicks. There's a lot of it's business. There's a lot of corporate decisions going on, you know. So I rather, like I said, watch those young kids that are coming up that are completely original. They've taken influences. They don't sound like them, but they've taken all their great influences and they've mixed into a pot, and now they're out there hustling for what they believe in. And those are the bands I like watching. And I discovered, you know, Straight from the Path on that road. There's that new band Throne that I'm checking out. You know what I mean? There's certain bands, you know, and I like trying to discover them before they get tainted in this industry.
Mm-hmm. And remember, guys, if you want to throw a question in, hit me in the group chat, and they'll call on you from there. And Donnie's up next with something for you.
Trying to find my unmute button. Hey, Sonny. Tatiana's incredible in this, but I'll say the second or third listen to the song, just I listen for production, song structure, all of that. And this, to me, it's at least my new favorite P.O.D. But I think it's honestly the strongest thing you've ever taken to radio. And it's just not sucking up or anything. It's, you hear 4 or 5 hooks in that chorus. That's just, this thing is just, it's beautiful. It's perfect. It's perfect.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I don't think we never sit down and write and say, we're going to throw in all those ingredients that you just said. We never do that. It just becomes what it is. It's such a natural thing. But as it progresses, you know, you're like, hey, I think this song could be a single, you know, hey, I think this is kind of hooky. It just kind of happens. And I, from the beginning, we always knew that. And there's something about P.O.D, you know, we have a few anthemic songs, you know what I mean? And this is that feeling that goes right in with the Alives and the Youth of the Nation. And being in England this weekend, it proved that we're always afraid to play new songs because, you know, especially the album's not out. We're like, who's going to know any of these? And sure enough, it was the whole crowd was going off. So I'm like, I don't know if they must have heard it once and maybe it was easy to sing along to. I don't know. Or hopefully they connected with it, you know, on a deeper level, but I appreciate that.
Yeah, just bravo. And like you had alluded to seeing the little bands on the tours that you weren't familiar with, but were doing something. For all the rock radio programmers, do that on the air too. I'm telling you, do that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, for sure.
Thank you, Donnie.
As I said, don't be afraid to ask me any question. I'm an open book, and sometimes I won't give you the answer, the cookie cutter answer you want. I might give you a little bit too much tea.
What's the one album cut on a P.O.D. album that didn't make it to a single that you wish did?
Oh, that's hard. I couldn't tell you. We have so many records, but there is a lot of stuff back in the day that there's songs that have gone out that we didn't want. You know what I mean? I think when on the was it the Testify record, there was a song with Modest Yahoo before he blew up, and it was called Roots in Stereo, and it has that, you know, it just has that P.O.D. feel. You listen to it, you say that's P.O.D. right there, and that was supposed to be our first single off that record. We were going to shoot it in Crown Heights in New York, where he's from, and like the Jewish community and all that, and kind of get a sense of where he comes from. And we really just wanted to go big on it. And then because of politics, somebody at his label didn't like somebody at our label at the time and all that BS. they spooked him, and I remember he came up and hit me, and he's like, dude, they're telling me they're not gonna play my album. His album was on its way out; it hadn't even been out, and I was like, bro, if you don't stand up now, man, they're gonna control you this whole time. I'm like, you put it out. I'm like, dude, they're gonna put out your record. Trust me. They want you. You know what I mean? And who he was at the time, just with this whole Hasidic Orthodox kid. You know what I mean? He was rocking like, bro, they're not gonna shelve you, dude. You're like the thing right now, you know. But him being green and new at the time, they got under his skin. They scared him, and so we were never able to release that song. And then we ended up going with Goodbye for Now, which was more of a ballad with Katy Perry, who was nobody at the time. And then that was a song I don't think we ever meant to go to radio with, but the label at the time thought, oh no, it's poppy, it's whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then you're like, okay, it is what it is.
Yeah. All right, next up we got Lee. He's got a question for you.
So mine is a super quick one, just more of a thank you message. In 2016, you guys came and played a charity concert that we put on out here in Idaho. We're on the border with Washington, and so it was Rocket on the River was the show, and the crowd loved you, of course, but you guys were so good to the crowd and so good to the young bands that opened up before 1,000 Foot Crutch and Adelita's Way, and then you headlined. And I just wanted to thank you guys because you touched a lot of those young kids that's, trying to make their way and make some noise in their little bands. You really made them feel good about what they did. And then on the other side of that, we had a bunch of people call and donate more money to our local charities because of the show you put on. It was a direct effect. And so I just wanted to say thank you for that. And that's all I have.
Hey, thanks for sharing that, brother. We don't always get to hear that stuff up front. And so those are the kind of things that make it worth it. You know what I mean? So I appreciate that. That's a beautiful thing. I love all these new bands coming up. We actually go out of our way because we've been there, we've done that. And even though P.O.D is established, we go on tour with some of these bands and you'd still be surprised the lack of respect that we get because everybody is so filled with their rock star whatever. And it's like, you got to be kidding me. We've sold more records than you. You just happen to be headlining. You know what I mean? But okay, whatever. And so it's like when we go out of our way because we know that those bands that are hustling and they're so afraid, they just want someone to be like, what's up, dude? Like, I saw your show, man, it's kick ass, and then they're open book, or I've gone on tours with these bands and like, they just won't even talk to you. And so you're like, you have to break the ice right from the beginning because you're like, hey, we're going to be on tour for 2 months, bro. You might as well start talking now,
All right, up next, Victor. And remember, guys, if you want to ask a question, just hit me in the group chat.
Hey, good to see everybody. It's been a while, and thanks for taking a few to hang out with us, radio people, Sonny. Really cool of you.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, I got to say, with the new tracks you guys have released in the last 6 months or so, both had elements that caught me by surprise. When the track Drop came out back in September, did not expect you guys to team up with Randy from Lamb of God. Way cool. When I put that on air, all right, listeners, I got a new P.O.D track. I definitely got a lot of calls. What was going on there?
Yeah.
And then seeing that you were going to drop a song with Tatiana from Ginger was awesome. With the rest of the album still a mystery out there, are there any tracks in particular that you think fans might find interesting for any special reason? Or, what are some of your favorite elements of the album that haven't been unveiled yet?
The third and last collaboration that we have on the record is with Cove from Scary Kids, Scaring Kids, Say Oh Sin, Dead American. And he's more, you have the metal heads, you have Randy and Tatiana, male, female, and then you have Cove, who's more of the new school. And it's definitely a lot more fresh. It feels very, very young. And it's probably one of my favorite tracks on the record. And just because he kills it, he destroys it. And there's another song, and that one's called "This Is My Life." There's another song called "Lay Me Down," and it's dedication to a friend of ours who passed away right after when COVID started to settle down. But we had been friends forever, just through P.O.D. Probably seen more P.O.D. shows than anybody else. And he was heart transplant, lung transplant, all that stuff. He's been battling to live for so long. And then actually during the writing process of this song, we wrote the music, and I was supposed to write lyrics that day. And then when I got the call from his wife and his 2 little girls that he had passed away, it took me a whole week to kind of, recuperate. And then when it was time to write the song, it was fitting. And so the song is called "Lay Me Down." He actually died in his sleep. And then I don't know if you ever heard that I think it's an old Catholic prayer where it says, "Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. If I should die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take." And so it just stemmed off of that. And that's a sleeper, Lorraine. The sleeper.
I'm blown away.
It's a sleeper on this record.
I'm blown away. Wow.
Yeah, it's a sleeper on this record. So I can't wait for you guys to hear it.
The record is awesome. I mean, there are other tracks that are out that I love as well. "I Won't Bow Down" is out there on streaming platform.
Yeah.
It's doing a little TikTok craze right now. There's a lot of people picking up on it. They're doing pumping iron videos to it. It's just, we're trying to understand that TikTok, but it is kind of blowing up on there at the moment.
That's crazy.
We all love that track, and it was a little hard when we decided on singles, but we're really excited for "Afraid to Die." You're going to have "Lies I Tell Ourselves" come out, which is a little more Southern Cal kind of vibe for what you do, because there is that sunny and Southern California groove that you guys do. And that one really plays to, I don't know, the summer and all that good stuff.
Yeah. Good problems to have.
You think about TikTok with how, Bad Omens blew up with their hit "Just Pretend" basically from TikTok. Think back 30 years ago when you guys are starting a band, cell phones were barely a thing yet. The internet was still getting started. Now we have TikTok.
Yeah, don't get me started. We're just a band. We're a blue collar band. We've hustled our entire career. We did everything independently for 7 to 8 years because that's just who we were, And then it was like when we felt we reached the ceiling, it was like, hey, maybe we should reach out to some labels, and we did it. And that was a whole nother world that we experienced, what I mean? With just MTV and then radio and stuff like that, and open up to a whole different audience. And we're extremely grateful for that. But here we are 32 years later, we're still hustling. We're still working. It's like we don't tour, you don't eat. You know what I mean? But we're in it. We're in it for the long haul. It's like we've had plenty of opportunities to sell out, plenty of opportunities to do this, change that, look this way. We didn't. You look 32 years, your career at P.O.D., we're the same. We're not jumping from trend to trend. We're not doing whatever. We say no when it's easy to say yes and cash in and get the big win. But at the end, I'm more about honor and integrity and leaving a legacy with my band. I don't care. I'd rather be a pioneer at something. That way the next guy can learn from it, and kudos to him. Maybe he can have the bank account that I wish for someday, but hopefully he'll do it the way we did it, and he'll work his ass off to get there, and then he'll earn it. I just have a problem when people don't earn it, because we're hustling and we haven't stopped hustling. And so, it's the same thing. It's stories. I'm on tour with bands, and P.O.D. is talking about how we slept in parking lots of casinos and gambled our last $100 to make it get gas to the next spot, and sleeping on the bumper. You know what I mean? And it's like these guys are sitting there and they're in awe because their first show was at a rock festival, their first whatever. or their songs were written by so and so, and they had hits right off the bat, and so they have no history. And I know history is everything to guys like us. So I mean, hey, more power to you, man. TikTok it up. I just don't get it. You're just not going to see me shucking and jiving and making up dumb stuff. I just can't. I can't do it. I wish I could. If it would pay for all of my kids' college right now, that might be a different conversation. You know what I'm saying? Because now I'm old. But the punk rock kid to me would be like, the hell with this. This is ridiculous. Like, what is this? But I see it, and so I watch it on Instagram, or I just see it, and I'm just like, no, dude, don't. And these are my friends, you know, in rock bands. Like, don't do it, bro. Don't do it. No. But what are you gonna do? Hey, maybe they're putting their kids through college. I just got to find other ways to do it. That's all.
All right. Up next, Ryan from QLZ for you.
Yeah. Hey, Sonny, thanks for doing this. I think you guys were probably one of the first bands when I was like 12, 13 years old my parents were cool with, because you guys had the Christian vibe.
You know how many times I've heard that story?
Probably a lot, not to make you feel old or anything, but yeah, it's
all good.
Really cool things. I had a different question for you, but I want to ask you about, you know, your authenticity. You know, you wanting to stay true to yourself a lot. Who instilled that in you? Was that something from your parents? You know, growing up, you know, you know who you are, and you want to continue to be that.
Yeah.
So, is there anybody who really instilled that in you growing up, or is it something you kind of developed along the way?
I mean, obviously, you know, I come from a broken home. You know what I mean? So a lot of that comes from my mother, and it comes from her mother before her. You know, Italian immigrants, hardworking family. You know, I come from a neighborhood. I'm all mixed up in culture. A lot of it has to do with where I'm from, but a lot of it has to do too with you know, my upbringing, and then losing my mom at 19, and then discovering my faith. And it was real to me. You know what I mean? I'm not a choir boy. I'm not this westernized institution of Christianity church. It's a real thing to me. And you know, when I discovered God, it was life changing for me, and it was everything that I needed to make it another day. And so here I am, 30 something years later, still on this journey of faith. You know what I mean? And I've learned so much. You know, throw rock and roll in the mix. There's just so much to learn and experience. You know what I mean? On both sides. And if anything, that whole Christian side has been so crazy and wild, just to learn all that stuff and learn what I don't want to be and how I don't want to act, and just this whole experience. And I'm very unique in my situation, and I wouldn't change it for nothing. And if rock and roll came knocking on my door tomorrow or 30 years ago and said, today's the last day, that I'm fine with that. That doesn't change like who I am. I just feel lucky and blessed to be a part of it. I made friends and family in this rock and roll industry that, dude, I cherish, I die for. But at the end of the day, it comes back down to, like you said, man, who I am and who I want to be and who I want my kids to be. And so I'm just trying, man. That's it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Now, I got another quick question. I remember seeing you guys on MTV Cribs and your daughter Nevaeh. And that was the first time I'd ever heard that. And so I always had that in the back of my mind. And then all of a sudden, there was an explosion of girls named Nevaeh.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It was.
I give you guys credit for kicking that one off.
Yeah. It was Nevaeh is heaven spelled backwards. Yep. And at the time, it exploded. I was just holding her. I don't think she could even hold her head up. You know, little bald head. And I said, this is my daughter, Nevaeh. She's my first baby. Heaven spelled backwards. And then a couple years later, they were saying how this explosion happened. And it was like the number one name given like all around the world. And it was absolutely insane. And so, yeah, it just, it just happened. I don't know.
All thanks to Sonny and MTV Cribs.
Yeah, thanks to MTV.
All right, so we got a few people that have joined in. If you want to ask Sonny a question, just in the group chat, let me know. We'll go to Brian at Rock 108 in Iowa.
Sonny, appreciate the time.
Hey, Brian.
First listen of Afraid to Die in our music meeting, the first feel that I had was it went back to the San Diego Chargers theme that you guys had done. And between that and the Rey Mysterio that you had contributed for WWE, how open are you guys to licensing your music or tying into sports going forward?
Oh man, we want it. If anything, we welcome that. That's something that has always given P.O.D exposure from the beginning. You know what I mean? Back in the day, it was like, hey, we're going to use this for the TV or a football ad or whatever. We want to put this song on a video game. That was always cool to us. You know what I mean? Just because we love sports, we love video games, and so those were just bonuses. So we're always open to that stuff. I still get a kick out of watching Monday Night Football and then the live is on there. I mean, I don't know how much we actually get paid for that. I don't think we get paid anything, but when they actually do use it for something or like a movie, it's beautiful. And ever since the beginning of Afraid to Die, I always I see it like in a Marvel movie, you know what I mean? Like a superheroes movie of a soundtrack. And don't quote me, but I want to say in that song, somehow we discovered the original hand claps from Queen's. Oh gosh, the big tune.
We Will Rock.
Oh gosh, yes. I don't know. I can't remember how we came across it, but I don't know if they threw it out there into the to the atmosphere for people to use. But it was the actual, or our guys got it. The producers got it, and it's the original hand clap. And so it's not as prominent. Before it was like we got too wild with it, and that's all you hear is the hand clap. We're like, we can't do that, right? So if you listen now, it's tucked in there, but it's the original hand clap from Queen. Yeah, little tidbit.
And Brian brought up being the theme song for Rey Mysterio, still going.
Yes.
So
yeah.
Do you watch?
Yeah, I wish we got
wrestling
royalties. Yeah, I mean, I follow along with him and his son Dominic. You know what I mean? I'm not as crazy about it as maybe when we were kids and stuff. But Ray is actually a very close friend of ours. We went to the same school. We're a border town. So while we were doing music, he was out down in TJ getting his wrestle on. You know what I mean? And when our paths crossed again, it was a beautiful thing. And so we'll hook up now and then here in the South Bay and do charity work. And he'll call us if he's going to be doing something. He'll say, hey, come hang out and at the kids' school or whatever he's doing, and I'll do the same thing. So he's amazing. But that's WDE world. They don't give their pennies to nobody. You know what I mean?
All right, let's go next to Lance. Again, if you got a question, let us know in the group chat.
Sonny, you talk about authenticity, you talk about history, and I think one of the reasons that P.O.D has lasted and persevered is because you write songs with sincerity. And I always say music heals, music brings people together. Do you hear from a lot of fans that have had a song that has resonated and maybe said, that song means something to me, that song changed my life?
Yeah. 100%. I wouldn't be here right now doing it 32 years. I never joined this band for my ego or to hear how cool I am or how much I rock. That means I can't stress enough how that means. It means it means absolutely nothing to me. It means nothing. I have no ego. I don't care. I hate pride. I hate arrogance. I would have quit a long time ago. I never joined this band. It's funny, all my friends, whether it's Head or whoever, they'll tell the story how they had rock posters on their wall and they said, someday I'm going to be a rock star. That never crossed my mind. The thing is when I found faith, my life changed. And all I wanted to do was scream it out loud to whoever would listen. And I never planned to leave on leaving San Diego. We all worked 9 to 5. We all worked 50 hours a week. Music was just what you did late at night. You know what I'm saying? And I never thought, but it was the only way. When I was asked to be in this band, I actually turned it down. But if you know my story, there's reasons why I said, I think I have to give this a shot. I don't know what I'm doing. To this day, I don't consider myself a singer. I'm definitely not an entertainer. I just grabbed that mic because I wanted to scream in the faces of friends that my life has changed and your life can change too. That was it. And all of a sudden, P.O.D. is where it's at. So I love when people come up and say, dude, I love your band. You guys rock. Thank you so much. But that's not what gives me fuel. That's not part of the cost that I've counted to leave my family, to leave my kids, to go out and do this when I can probably get a 9 to 5 here in my hometown, be home for dinner and make more money than I do. That's not why I do it. It's because that over and over and over again is, hey, I had a gun in my mouth and Alive came on the radio station. I was going to blow my brains out. And Alive came on the radio. Beautiful came on the radio. This song came on the radio, or spot anything, anything. And this is why I love your band. And what do you say to that? What do you say to that? Except, like I said earlier, it's confirmation that 32 years later, when I decided to be in this band, it's still confirmation that reminds me I was supposed to be in this band, and that's it. As much as I want to quit, I'm tired. I love what I do, but I'm tired. But if all they're gonna say is, "Dude, your band rocks," then it's time for me to start thinking about going home. But when I'm walking to after a stage, or I'm going to get a cup of coffee next to the venue we're playing, and then I'm having conversations with people, I'm looking at little teenage girls and their moms are coming up to me and they're showing me pictures of the cuts that their kids have, and they're they're saying, but my daughter decided not to kill herself because of this song, and then they're reciting lyrics to me. It's the only reason, man. I can't explain it. But when that stops happening, then consider me retired.
Now let's fast forward, say 50 years. Some little kid goes into hopefully there are record stores still around 50 years from now.
Yeah, right.
They come across P.O.D. What's the one song? Doesn't matter,
man.
Radio success, sales, or anything. What's the one song that you want to be like the iconic P.O.D. song that somebody discovers?
You can't do that, right? You can't. That's like asking me which kid is my favorite. I'm not gonna. Obviously, I like the songs that people know because you go play around the world. We can go to Africa tomorrow, and they're gonna be singing Euthanasia. They're gonna be singing Alive. They're singing Boom. They're gonna know all these songs, and that's great. But it is the deep cuts. It's the ones that they're paying attention to. But I can't, man. And I would say you just listen to the record. Listen to it. I don't want somebody to listen to one song. That's why we try to make great records, man. Because when we were kids and you put on a tape or a vinyl, you were forced to listen to the whole thing. Now that's the problem. If it ain't a 10-second TikTok clip, no one's listening to your band. How do you know which band you like? You don't even like that band. You like their damn TikTok clip, dude. It's ridiculous. Listen to the record. I want to be judged off the record, not no offense, not because if you, my friends, decide to play my song or not. I don't want that to be the end all. I want that kid to go in and remember back in the day we were able to just listen, even CD time, walk into Tower Records or whatever, and put on the headphones and listen to the whole record. It was but even then you got to fast forward it. Back in the day, vinyl, you had to listen to the whole damn thing. So listen to it all, man. That's why we make records. We're 12 records deep. Some of our bands that we play with are headlining these festivals, and they have 2 records in their 30-year career. That doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? What's wrong here? We make records because we love making records. We love making music. When I die, I want our music to exist. I don't want hey, I heard of this band. It's cool. And it's oh, they must have a huge catalog. No, they only have 2 records out. They were a band 50 years and they have 2 records. That makes no sense.
It's true. It's so true. So as we're about to wrap this up, Lorraine, you got a couple words here.
I'm really blown away by Sonny's honesty for this hour. For us all to take a pause in our day to like enjoy this, because I think this was a really special thing that we all shared. And for everyone to take a break in their day, like when do we ever pause to do something that just might be like, you know what, I got 50 other things to do, but like I'm just going to make the time now to sit here and listen and, you know, have a chance to meet and say hey to Sonny. A lot of you guys know P.O.D. Sonny, everybody is from all over the US on this call today. And I'm really blown away by your honesty and your sincerity and by how hard you work, how hard we all work. And we all just got to get college paid for, yo. Like we all got the bills. We all got the bills.
We should.
We're doing what we love and we're all working hard.
That's right.
But even just to have everybody on the call today, I just wanted to thank everyone for making their time to be here today, and Joanne and Caroline and Glassman for coordinating this with everyone. And your time, Sonny. I know you just got back from the
Oh, thank you guys. No way. Thank you. This is the easy part. I can talk like this all. Sometimes people just don't want to hear the realness. You know what I mean? They just want you to give the cookie cutter answers. Yeah, I love it. As long as someone's listening.
Well,
it's been a great time. The new album, again, Veritas, coming out May 3rd, the Love and Studio album from P.O.D. Thank you, Sonny. Thank you, Lorraine. Thanks, Joanne and the Aux.
Thank you, guys.
And it's been a hell of a time, man. Thanks for the talk.
thanks everyone
For sure. Thank you.
Sonny.
Thank you, everyone.
very much.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Yeah, you guys have a beautiful day.